Oi pessoal, eu sou Marcelo Copello, eu estou no World Wine Experience Itália, aqui no Rio de Janeiro, com um dos maiores enólogos do mundo, Alberto Antonini. Alberto, nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Welcome to Brazil and to Rio. It's an honor to be with you, tasting your wines. When did you start with wine? Long time ago?
A long time ago.
Do you remember?
Yeah. You know, when I was a child and when they ask you what would you like to do when you are an adult, I always say I want to be a farmer. So
But your family is a farmer family?
No, actually, my family is in school teaching. My father was a school teacher, but with a lot of passion for agriculture. And he bought in '68 the first part of Poggio Tondo, the winery,
okay.
and he developed more like an hobby project because you know he planted just 3 hectares of vineyard, and he had a very kind of garagist winery. But I think it's I definitely learned from him the love for Mother Nature in general and for
That's the
vineyards and
basic.
olive oil. Yeah.
If you love it, you can do
Well,
it.
you have to. Well, what is great about wine compared to all the other businesses is that in my now almost 35 years of being in this business, what I notice and what I like a lot is that I haven't met yet one person who has got into this business for the money. You had to make some
I
money.
could name some, but
No, but not really very many. I mean, it's the first reason in which you get into the wine business is not money. It's always the passion for what you do.
Yes.
And then obviously you had to make a living out of that. You had to be successful if you want to be successful, but it's a different story. So we all share not just a pure business concept, we share the passion for this.
I agree totally. So you started 35 years ago, and how many wines do you make all over, or wineries do you work with all over the world?
Too many.
Too many?
Yes. And I studied in Florence, and I got my graduation there a long time ago. And then after the graduation in viticulture and winemaking, I did a master in Bordeaux and one in UC Davis in California. And then my first job was as an assistant winemaker at Frescobaldi Winery, which is
yes.
quite a historical winery in Tuscany. Then I moved from there to Montalcino, and I was for 5 years technical director of Coldorcia Winery. And then I was hired as a head winemaker at Antinori in the early
Big
90s.
names, big names.
And then in '97, I decided to get out of the comfort zone and to go on my own.
Great.
And despite I was in a very good position, but that was my dream, and it is my attitude, just challenges, and I decided to go on my own. And since '97, I started to work as a consultant. And I started in Italy, and then since I had met a lot of international people when I was working in these major wineries, when they knew that I had left and I was on my own, some of them started calling me, one in California, one in Argentina, and I accepted these consultancies initially for my spirit of adventure, but then they became more and more important, and now probably the non-Italian consulting business is by far over 50%, let's say 60-65%. So it just becoming very strong in South America, a lot of Argentina, Chile,
Mainly
Uruguay.
Argentina.
Chile, and Uruguay, and then North America, US, and
Can you name some of your?
better not to.
Okay,
Because
okay.
if I forget one of them, it may
Okay.
be upset.
But let's talk about
Sure.
your Poggio Tondo. Fantastic wine. I just tasted
you.
with you, and I tasted the Rosso, very fresh, very gastronomic wine. Then the
Yes.
Chianti with a lot of character, and the Chianti Riserva. Here it's very very high quality wine. Typicity, structure. It's glue wine. You taste it. You want more.
Sure.
How do you make it?
Well, I think it's the Riserva is a selection of grapes coming from the section of the vineyards in which there is the highest concentration of limestone fossils, because the soil of Poggio Tondo has a marine origin. It used to be the bottom of the sea, and then it came up millions of years ago. And along with the soil, there came up a lot of limestone fossils like seashells and similars. And as you know, limestone soils are responsible for what I believe are the best wines in the world, like Tuscany.
Elegance.
Well, energy, vitality, tension, and obviously elegance and complexity.
Burgundy,
So it's
yes.
about Tuscany, Piedmont, Burgundy, Champagne, Rioja, Uco Valley. I think it's enough. There are many other good wines made on schist and granites, but limestone is really one of my favorites. So
Yes, limestone in wine is gold. Yes.
I think it's good, yeah, because when the vine roots get into the limestone, they absorb a lot of mineral, and you immediately pick up the difference, which is very, very evident.
And this is Sangiovese and
This is Sangiovese and Canaiolo, and I now make all my wines with just with Tuscan grapes. We are all coming from the super Tuscan time, and we started 20 years ago with a little bit
now
of
it's a
Merlot and Syrah.
super Tuscan hangover.
Yeah,
now we're recovering.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I think has been. I don't look at that like a negative time. It just was a different time. Now we had got a lot more confidence in ourselves, in our grapes, in our places, in our winemaking tradition. So we don't need anymore to make an important wine, to use barrels or to use Cabernet or to use whatever. We just need to focus and do well what we have got. And so basically, going back to the Reserva its quality is not coming from different winemaking techniques. It's just coming from a different selection of grapes, because I have like 27 hectares, but as you know, 27 hectares is a very complex word. And I did a very intense terroir study with a friend of mine, a colleague who I do a lot of work with, Pedro Parra. He's a Chilean
Yes,
guy.
very well known here
Okay.
in Brazil. Yes.
And so with Pedro, we are working together in many, many projects in different countries. And he was, about 7 years ago, I asked him to come to Portotondo. We did a very intense study of all my vineyards with him, and we came up with the mapping. And so now I know exactly where to do what. And the reserve, the premium range of wines are all selection from the soils where there is the highest concentration of these limestone fossils.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Highly recommended by me. Conchiglie. It's Syrah, right?
No, it's
No,
100%. It's Sangiovese 100%.
Sangiovese,
Yeah,
okay. I come confused with the other
no,
one.
sure,
Okay.
no, it was Marmorisha this year. This is a Chianti Reserve, single vineyard, because it's only as
okay.
opposed
It's a
as-
Chianti
yeah,
also.
as
Okay.
opposed to a Riserva, which is a blend of different vineyards, all on limestone. The Conchiglie is only one vineyard. It's a single vineyard,
Okay.
and it's a vineyard that is located in the best part of the property, on
A
the
Grand
top of the
Cru.
hill, a Grand Cru. And it's the name, the Conchiglie means seashells, and the name comes from the soil, which is very rich.
Para vocês verem aqui
Sure.
a conchinha. Ok.
The soil is very, very rich in this kind of fossils, and that's where the name comes from. The vineyard was planted in 1990, so it's 26 years old now.
Let me try.
And I think it's combining texture, structure, and a lot of freshness. So it's an 8 years old wine now. It's
I
2008,
see more
and it's still
fruit, more wood, more concentration here. A
Uh,
little bit more, maybe.
and
More, maybe more minerality.
yes, exactly, exactly, yeah. And this is the Conchiglie is a bit more mineral. It's not necessarily bigger because I mean my approach to the making of wine is not the more the better. Just sometimes I always like to say that what counts are the ingredients, and I always do the example of the pizza. My favorite is the margherita. We don't need the 10
Mine
topping
too.
pizza.
Yes.
As long
I
as
don't
the-
like much thinking on the pizza.
No, but
just
as
good.
long as the 7 ingredients you make the margherita with are the best: water, salt, flour, olive oil, cheese, basil, and I'm missing one. I don't remember. There should be another, and tomato. And
Okay.
tomato. So as long as the 7 ingredients are very good, that's more than enough.
Tá vendo, olha. A wine recipe made by pizza. A lesson taught by pizza to wine.
Yeah, I mean, we are coming from years in which we were told that the more is the better. I don't believe that Schwarzenegger is a great model. You know, I think it's Michelangelo's David is much more balanced, and it don't need to be.
And as we approach this subject, what would you wouldn't do, never do in wine?
Well, I think it's what I would never do in wine. I would never make wines for the market, but my philosophy is to explain to the market what I'm doing. Because if the market, as it has happened in the past and still now, is the place where it's decided how to make the wine, that's hell. The market should be the place where we deliver the wines and where we develop the wine culture and the appreciation for the diversity and the authenticity. So that's the problem. So I would never make wine for the market. That's what I would never
think
make.
wine is a beverage that necessarily comes with a lot of culture.
Well,
You don't sell liquid, you sell culture.
We need to teach people that wine is, is representing many things. Is expressing the place where it's from, is expressing the grape, the culture, the tradition. So a lot of things. And I believe that wine is a great learning experience as long as it's authentic. Because if you do too much manufacturing, then you lose the authenticity, and to me it's like, you lose the soul, and that's.
And something you would like very much to do and haven't done yet in wine?
Well, you never. I like to say that I've done already 57 vintages, so you may ask yourself if I'm 80 years old. I'm not, but the trick is that in the last 20 years I've made 2 harvests per year.
2 hemispheres.
Exactly, but I'm close to be 57 in a month, and I believe that probably I'll be giving my best in 10 or 15 more years. What I want to say is that in this business you never stop learning, and you always see something that you should do next that you haven't done so far. So there are many things I would like to do and I haven't done yet, but that because I always learn something more, and when you learn something more, then you want to try that, and then you need some more time.
It's endless.
Endless, exactly.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, thank you. Cheers.